Hi, I'm Lucy from Sew Essential and I'm here today to share the patterns and fabrics and tips from the Sewing Bee Final 2022. So that's Series 8. I can't believe it's over already. Just gone so quickly. I've picked out patterns that I think you could use and fabrics to recreate some of the looks from the show. Everything I talk about today is available on our lovely website, and I'll pop links to our website and all the products I mentioned below. And if you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, because every Friday I bring you a video packed full of sewing goodness. If you can't wait a whole week, do jump on and check out our social media accounts. They're all linked below. So yeah, I've picked out the patterns and the fabrics from the things in the show. So the pattern challenge this week was really cool. It was Esme Young, who's one of the judges. It was her famous Amorphous dress that she designed many moons ago. It's quite a famous dress, and I think there's an exhibition on soon with the dress featured in it actually. But it's made from a single piece of lycra. It's super sexy. It's got several cutouts that run down the side of the dress that are fastened with D-rings. So yeah, quite a challenging thing for the bees to sew, but really sort of lots of impact. Think Liz Hurley's famous safety pin dress. It's sort of along those lines. And I think a lot of us might not feel quite confident enough to wear something along those lines, or might feel a little bit exposed with all the stuff at the side. Lots of people don't. I've seen some gorgeous examples of this sort of look coming back recently and people looking amazing, but we've got a more wearable version to share with you for a sewing pattern that I think people might feel more comfortable wearing, and there isn't one, in all honesty, that is along the same lines as Esme's original design. So I've picked out the closest thing, which is a Mimi G pattern, which is Simplicity 9370. It runs in sizes 6 to 24, so a 6 is a 30.5 bust, 23 waist, 32.5 hip, and a 24 is a 46 bust, 39 waist and 48 hip. And I really love this pattern actually. I think I've shown it you before in previous videos. I can't remember when or why, but it's similar to the Amorphous dress, that it's got a high neck. And then it's just got one cutout on the side of the dress, just at the waist really, above the hip. And at the waist, and then there's a tie that comes across and fastens across the middle of that cutout hole. It looks like you can use a D-ring on this one as well. We stock D-rings on our website. I'll pop a link to those below for you. And then there's a version with long sleeves or short sleeves, and then you can go for like a tapered sort of pencil skirt or a more flared drapey skirt, and it's designed for stretch knit fabrics. So I thought our Ritual John Caldor fabric, which is a soft jersey knit, would be perfect for this. Channeling a bit of Mimi G with the colour here. This is the magenta colour, but actually it comes in a really wide range of colours. So I'll pop the link below and you can check out the other colours if this isn't your bag. But yeah, it's a lovely drapey knit fabric with plenty of stretch, which would be perfect for that pattern. So that was my choice for that one. And then there is another dress which is along a similar theme, and I think really demure and a really lovely way of doing that cutout trend. It's McCall's 8238, and it's got a lovely crossover neckline with a cutout on one sort of across the collarbone, and then a keyhole at the front. Very fitted on the bodice. Options for elbow length or full length sleeves. And then options for a short flared skirt or a maxi, or I think a midi length skirt as well. I think, yeah, one of them slightly shorter than the other. So midi or maxi length skirt that's flared and just drapes and hangs beautifully. It's got a slit up the centre front on the two longer skirts. And I just think it's a really demure, lovely way of doing the cutout trend. And again, that would work really well in the Ritual fabric. If you wanted a bit of glitz and glamour, because it was party week, I just thought I'd show you this gorgeous Dazzle fabric as well, which is the John Caldor. Comes in a few different colours. This is the teal one, which reminded me of Manyi's jumpsuit that she did. It's just absolutely beautiful, so sparkly, and you could actually use this to make one of those patterns. The only thing is, I would recommend probably lining the Dazzle fabric. but we do have a John Caldor stretch lining called Libra, and the navy blue I've tested underneath the teal, and that would work well. I've used this stretch lining on loads of makes. I've used it on wovens and also stretch fabrics. This dress I'm wearing today, it's a woven, it's a crepe, and I used we've got like a pinky coloured one to line it, and it's a really nice way of adding a more comfortable, less formal lining to things if you need to as well. So yeah, they were my picks for the first pattern challenge. And then the made to measure challenge was to make a red carpet worthy jumpsuit. So there were quite a range of ideas in the final challenge. The first one I want to start with, which was probably my favourite, was Magny. She made a very sort of simple, it looked like a halter neck jumpsuit with a wide leg, and she did a really fun design where she put she did half of the bodice in sparkle and the other half in satin, and then she did the opposite sides on the legs. So the opposite side would be the two sparkle sequin sides would be opposite, and the two satin sides were opposite, and I thought that was a nice little design feature. The pattern that I thought looked quite similar to what she made is Vogue 1506. It's a gorgeous jumpsuit pattern and lovely clean lines on this one, so perfect for sewing with some of those trickier fabrics, because it looks like it's just a single piece on each side of the front and a single piece on each side of the back. So you cut the whole, the bodice and the trouser leg out on a single piece. And then it looks like it's fastened with a zip at the front. It's got a centre front seam, a centre back seam. It's got a halter neck design with a high neck at the back. It's got that lovely cutaway effect around the armholes. Just think it's super sexy. And yeah, reminded me of Magny's jumpsuit. Really lovely classic. It's semi-fitted, so I don't think it would need to be, it'd be a bit easier to fit. It's not going to be skin tight or anything, a bit easier to wear as well. It runs in sizes extra small to an extra large, so it's a 29.5 bust, 22 waist and 31.5 hip, up to a 48 bust, 41.5 waist and a 50 hip. It's designed to be lined, so you could do possibly use the Dazzle fabric that I showed you, although that is a stretch fabric. It does say matte jersey would be okay for this. So if you're a confident sewer and you're happy using stretch fabrics, you could probably get away with using that for this. I did think as well, there is this teal satin fabric. It's a Duchesse satin that would pick out the teal sparkles in the Dazzle fabric that I showed you. That's the satin side there. So if you wanted to have a go at doing something like Magny did, the only thing is the pattern I've chosen, the Vogue one, there isn't a waist seam, so you wouldn't be able to do like the opposite bodice and leg. You'd have to add a waist seam to do that, but you could do opposite sides. You could do one side in satin and one side in the Dazzle fabric, as in like the whole bodice and trouser leg of each side. But also the other fabric I thought would be great just to recreate the look on the packet, which is gorgeous and timeless, and you know, I'm sure would be worn many times to New Year's Eve parties and Christmas parties and things. You could use our John Caldor Dazzle sequin fabric to make it up in, and again you could use that Libra stretch lining that I taught to you about. And while we're on the subject of stretch, actually I forgot to mention that some of the sewing bees struggled in their first pattern challenge task. When they were sewing those curves on the stretch fabric, some of them stretched them out as they were sewing, which is really easy to do. But I just wanted to show you a couple of products that I always use to avoid doing that on curves. So I use these on necklines, armholes of stretch and jersey projects, but I am going to put a link as well. I did a tutorial video on all my top tips for stretch fabrics and knit fabrics, so I'm going to put a link to that below as well. But particularly these products, this is a Prim product called, I think they call this one seam tape, and basically that is a roll of stretch interfacing that's about 1/2 inch wide, and you can just iron it on around any curves, like a fusible interfacing, and then it will stretch, so it will allow the fabric to stretch as it needs to, but it will also retain the shape of the fabric. An alternative product that we do is this Visaline version that comes in different colours, black and white, I think maybe skin coloured. And again, it's the same sort of idea. You can just see there that it does stretch, and I think we sell this one by the metre perhaps, really reasonably priced, but absolutely, you know, crucial for sewing curves and things on jersey successfully, or really useful for doing that. I'm sure there are people that can achieve great results without those products, but it certainly makes life a lot easier. And we also do stretch interfacing on our website. This is a white one, we've got a black one and a skin coloured one, and again you could just cut strips of this. I think we sell this by the metre, but you could cut strips of that for the same purpose, or just if you need to interface some of the pattern pieces. I use that all the time when I'm making stretch and knit stuff, but as I said, I'll pop the tutorial link below for you as well. So the next jumpsuit I wanted to talk to you about was Deborah's. She went had a bit of a different idea to the other bees. Rather than going with your classic satins and sequins and sparkles, she went for a loud sort of colourful print drapey fabric, and she made a strapless jumpsuit. The pattern I think looked like this one is Simplicity 9330, which is a Mimi G pattern with a sweetheart neckline. It's got a waist tie and a sort of wrap piece that comes across one side. It's got a cropped tapered leg, or you can make a mini dress version. This one runs in sizes 6 to 24 again, so we've already run through those sizes earlier in the video, but this will work with crepe, rayon, silky type, soft cottons, tencels and velvets. I thought I'd go with the Mimi G theme on the packet and the Deborah theme of something nice and loud and colourful. And we've just had this gorgeous Dashwood rayon printing, which I absolutely love. The Dashwood rayons are such lovely quality, so lovely and soft, beautiful drape and movement. And then just look at that gorgeous design. I thought if you made a jumpsuit in that, I think it would be perfect for so many summer occasions, holiday, evenings out on holiday, barbecues, that sort of thing, where you want to kind of dress up a bit and, you know, wear something that you feel really good in, but not be too overdressed. The next one I want to talk to you about is Brogan's. So Brogan made a romper rather than a jumpsuit, so a short version, or a play suit as we call them in the UK. And then she put like an overlay over the top, like almost like a cape thing. The pattern that I think was close to what she made is Simplicity 9290, which has got a bustier type top with a halter neck and sweetheart neckline, and a pair of shorts that you could possibly join together, or you could just make the separates as intended and get a very similar look. There's also a pencil skirt included and a little bolero as well. This runs in sizes 6 to a 22, so a 22 is a 44 bust, 37 waist and 46 hip. And this is designed for stretch wovens, denim, broadcloth, those sorts of fabrics. Now Brogan chose like looked like a black brocade with a gold animal print on it, but when I saw the word denim on the pattern packet, I just thought I've got to show you this shimmer denim that we've got, which you could sew that particular jumpsuit or romper up in, but also you could just make loads of different jumpsuits in this. It's a stretch denim, it's got quite a lot of stretch in it, so it's great for party wear and would be great for dresses and things as well. So I just wanted to show you that, and it just reminded me of a similar idea of what Brogan made. And then while we're on that subject, I just thought I'd show you as well, we have got another denim which has got like a Lurex gold thread running through it. Now this one isn't anywhere near as stretchy as the other. I wouldn't recommend it for that pattern, but it's just nice for sort of party wear. I always think an evening jacket sewn up in this would be great for winter. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that one as well. And then finally, Annie made a strapless jumpsuit with a wide leg, and then she put an enormous bow on the back, which Esme loved, obviously. There isn't a pattern that hits the mark completely with this one. I think you'd have to combine two patterns. So the two patterns I've combined are Simplicity 8598, which runs in sizes 8 to 16. It's got a sort of strapless, it's very fitted top that you could use to create that look, and then you could use a new look 6544, which is a simple sort of wide leg trouser pattern with waist darts and runs in sizes 10 to 22. So a 10 is a 32.5 bust, waist is 25 and hip is 34.5. And a 22 is a 44 bust, 37 waist and 46 hip, and you could perhaps hack those two patterns together to create the look of Annie's jumpsuit. And she used a sort of, it looked like a pale blue or pale grey. So I've picked out our Duchesse satin, which is John Caldor again, just like the best for all this formal special occasion stuff. But you can see that's a lovely silvery pale blue colour, similar to what Annie's looked like. I thought that would work really well. And then she used like a navy blue on the bow, and we've got a Mystique satin back crepe, which is a little bit lighter weight that you could use, or you could use the Duchesse satin again, depending on how much volume and structure you wanted. We've got a navy blue in that as well. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, everything I talked about today is available on our lovely website. You'll find all the links to everything you need below. And if you like what you see today, please like and subscribe, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.